Hi everybody, it's Patty, and today we're going to do my nails. And this is sort of an impromptu video. I decided I wanted to do them and decided I wanted to film it because it's been a while since I actually filmed how I do my nails. And I'm not talking about a manicure. I'm talking about actually removing and applying my press-on nails. And I have tried everything under the sun, different systems, and I promise you what I'm doing now, I've been doing for maybe 4 or 5, 6 months even, and so far this has absolutely worked the best for me. Not only does it work, it's very, very, very inexpensive, which is awesome. So I'm going to try to keep this video short. You're not going to see me do every single finger. You'll get the idea. But I'll for sure let you know what I'm using, and I will list everything below in case you want to try it for yourself. So first of all, and it's strictly because of the glue that I'm using makes this possible, but these are the easiest nails ever to remove and without damaging your nails. As I said, it's the glue. The glue is the secret to it, and I have reviewed this glue before, but then I got away from it. Now I'm back to it. But what we're going to do, and by the way, you can see that I've had one pop off this morning. I redo these nails about every 7 to 10 days. And the reason I can do it is because it's so easy and they're so inexpensive. So what I will do, and I have a few little tools here, and sometimes I don't use them, but if I have any kind of a little lift anywhere, all I do is, there you go, it's off. And what I'll do is I will try to zoom in so that you can see, so that you can see exactly what my nail looks like. That is glue on my nail. That is not my nail bed. That is actually glue. And there's still glue underneath the nail. So that's basically, I find a little spot, and it's like once it starts, I can just run my thumbnail or another nail, and whoops, look, that one came off. The one I was using came off. And I have this. You could use this or an orange stick, but I know I'm not damaging my nail. It is the glue. There it is. And see, that one came right off. And every once in a while, they'll pop off on their own. And even if it pops like this one did, but even if it pops off, you know, it's so easy to put back on. Or not put that particular nail back on necessarily, but I can put just grab a new one. And all that's on my fingernails is the glue, and we're going to take care of that in a second. So we have removed one hand that fast. I'll do the other hand and come back. Okay, here we go. We're finishing up. And generally I will use like an orange stick or this little instrument, this little tool to do my dominant hand, because it's just, I don't have those nails to get up under there. But that's it. They've popped off. There they are. I have a trash can right here. We're going to get rid of those. Now what I do next is I'm going to just get rid of my glue. And I've got this at Sally's. It's Beauty Secrets. This is one of their washable coarse medium 100 to 180 grit, it says. And all I'm going to do is buff, basically, or file that glue off of there. I file it down until it gets pretty smooth. And it's still a little bit rough, but that's okay with me. If I'm gonna do any shaping at that point, maybe. I like my nail bed underneath the nails to be short. I have this thing about wearing fake nails and them getting dirty underneath, and I think when my nail grows out, they're underneath there, they're much more prone to get dirty, look dirty, feel dirty. But there you go. And then I have another file that's more like a buffer. It's just very little grit at all. Everything's worn off of it, so I can't tell you what it is, but I bet it came from Sally's also. And I will just smooth that out just a little bit. And I'm going to do that to all of my fingers, or all of my nails. As you can see, I mean, there is no damage to my nail whatsoever. Now, the glue that I use, you can get a nail remover that comes with it. I've never had to use it. I have it, but I've never had to use it. And these nails would stay on much longer than what I wear them. Because it's so easy and it's so inexpensive to do what I'm doing, that it just, why not do them if I have time before they start to grow out and look like I need a fill or I need to do something. So I'm going to just hold these up, find the camera here. I'm going to just hold my nails up so that you can see this one, and then this one still has the glue on it. But this is my nail. And I'm not, you can hear it, I'm sure, but I'm not filing with much pressure at all, very little pressure. And I'm not filing in any one place. I just want to get all of that glue off. And then shape it a little bit. And I'll be back. Okay, I'm back. Now, I have one little issue. This finger, I do have it's split right there. I may have nicked it, so I have some clippers, and I'm just going to clip that off. That's all I need to do. And that's it as far as the filing I'm going to do. What I usually do at this point is I use a cuticle remover, and I use the Blue Cross cuticle remover that I get off of Amazon. And this is not the bottle it comes in. It comes in a really large bottle, and I just put it in a little dropper bottle to make it easier to use. So I'm going to just put a little on. I'm going to go ahead and do this hand too. And then I'm going to push them back with, you probably have one of these, or I bet you have an orange stick. And I'm just going to get rid of that skin that's down on my nail, around my cuticle, and just really gently, very gently clean that up. And I'm going to do this, and I'll be back. Okay, that is that. Get that out of the way, and these are little alcohol prep pads, and you could just use plain old alcohol, rubbing alcohol, but these are really, I mean, just a few dollars for a box of them, so they're just easier for me. And I'm going to clean the surface of my nail, or of my nails. Get the cuticle oil and any dust and sort of sanitize what I'm going to do. Okay. We are ready. Now, let me show you first of all the nails. I buy these off of Amazon. They come like this, and when I ordered the first time, I almost had a heart attack because the color looks different than it did in the pictures. But when I took them out, you can see they look an entirely different color. And this is how they come. I've used some off of this, you can tell, and they start with the smallest and they graduate up. And I can't remember exactly, but this was, okay, 480 nails in this bag. It included some little emery boards and some press-on sticky stuff if you want to apply them that way, an orange stick. There's 480, and by the way, I think you can order these in 3 different sizes of bags, meaning quantity of nails, and this is the largest quantity you can buy, and don't hold me to it, but I think this was less than $20 for 480 nails. And I have a whole lot of waste with these because obviously these don't fit my fingers. I fit them to my fingers. So this is what they look like. Oops. That's how you get them. Looks like one fell off. Maybe I'm sure it's in there, but it doesn't matter. I don't think that's the size I wear. So anyway, those are the nails. The glue I use is the Curve Life Semi-Solid. And I know I have talked about this before. It says it's quick drying, no LED needed, long-lasting, ultra-strong, 15G high volume. I'm not sure what that means. But again, I get this off of Amazon also. I was looking on the back. Now, this is a tube that I have been using literally, well, when I first started wearing these, and it had to be a year ago when I first discovered this glue, and I'm finally replacing this glue, and I will tell you why. It's glued, the top will come off because I do always clean this with some nail polish remover before I put the top back on it. But it has stuck, it's closed up on the inside, and even with a straight pin or something, I can't open that. But you can see the glue, there's still probably over half of the tube of glue in here, and it's very pliable, so I think it's just time for a new tube. And this is this is maybe $8 or $9 for this tube of glue. So I did order a new tube, and we're going to get that out, throw those away. So it says tip, clean bottleneck. Yes, always clean it. So there we go. We're ready. All right, now I'll show you how I work with these nails. The first thing I do, and I sort of know already because I've been doing this for so long now, but I have very small nail beds, very small nail beds. And so I know that these tiniest ones are going to do my pinky fingers. They're going to be pretty much perfect if I lay it over there. And these are shorter nails. They just extend out over my the tip of my finger. That's another reason why I clip the nails short underneath my natural nails. But you can see if I push that up into the cuticle, it's just the perfect size. And I also look on to make sure that the nail is inside of my nail bed. I don't want the artificial nail extending over my nail bed, if that makes sense, on the side. So they're on here with little tabs, and I've learned from experience, trial and error, that it makes it a whole lot easier for me to apply these nails if I leave that little post on the end of the nail and then clip that off later. So I take my big clippers and I can get in there and trim that off right even there. So the nail, if you can see it, if you can see it, has that tab on it, and that comes in real handy. So if you're just still getting used to this, you might check it again and make sure it fits. So I have a little method. I lay all of my nails out before I start. So this is going to be this is my left hand, by the way. It may be reversed here. So I start with my little one, and then I'm going to do the same thing with this one I already know. And then I'll start over here, and this is my right hand. Now, I switch back and forth. This finger and this finger I need the same size nail on both hands. But would you believe that doesn't work? I don't have, unless I go into, and I could do that, but I have a fix for that too. So I'm gonna, this next one up is the one that really fits that nail. So I'm gonna wiggle in there with my clippers. Get that one. And again, I know already that one's going to work. So it'll go there. Are you with me? All right, I'm going to go to my middle finger next. And I'm skipping one. I already know, so. Now let's look at this finger. Whoops. My index finger, because for me, this nail bed and this nail bed are basically the same size. So this is going to be too big, but just a little bit, but it's the next smallest one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clip those. I'll go ahead and do both of them. Okay. And then I'll look at it, and it's just a hair, and I mean a hair. But I have found if it's a tiny bit too narrow or narrower than my nail bed, they stay on better. So I'm taking my file, and I'm just very slightly, a tiny little bit, just shortening or narrowing, filing that down. Make sure there's no rough edges. Test it. It's perfect. Try this one. Same thing. It's just the tiniest little bit. You know what I did? Listen, we're doing the wrong finger. We need to redo this. This goes on my index finger. I already have that one. But this really is, I knew something was wrong there, but this really is too wide for my finger. So I'm going to take a little bit more off of the sides. And again, this took some trial and error for me. And if you decide to do this, if you have weird shaped fingernails like I do, then you may have the same issue. You may need to take some off. Now, another issue I have with my index fingers is my nail bed this way is shorter. I have one foot that's larger than the other one. I have one leg that's a little bit larger than the other one. So can you see how much, I don't know if you can even see, but that nail is way too long. It's much longer. I don't want to file it off of this end because I want to keep that white tip. So I'm going to file and maintain this shape. Needs a little bit more. And you know, if I mess up, I'll have plenty here. Okay. I think it still needs to be a tiny bit narrower. And I'm going to go in with this and really make sure that's smooth. We're going to do the same with this one because I already know. And this one, my nail bed is longer. This nail bed is longer than this nail bed. And it doesn't matter if the nail is longer. Well, it does matter because it's where my cuticle is. My cuticle comes down further this way. So I don't have to take any length off of this one, just a little bit of the width. And these two are really the two that I work on the most, but trust me, after you do it a few times, you almost could do this in your sleep. Okay, there we go. We need thumbs. And would you believe the one that's missing is a thumbnail? So let's see here. Yes. And by the way, these have little numbers on them too. Until you get really familiar with them, you might want to write down what your number is for each finger. This happens to be a 3. So, we'll take that one and that one. Check those. I'm going to take just a tiny little bit off. The length is good. Okay, we're good. We have our nails ready. Fingernails are ready. Nails are ready. We have our glue. Let me see here. Okay. I like to have something to prop my glue up on so that it doesn't run out. I always start with my left hand with my pinky. And again, I check it. And then because it has that little tab on it, I put the tab facing away. And then I'm going to take, and you can take an orange stick, you can take anything, but I hold the tab. And I may have to, nope, I didn't. Thought I might have to puncture that. I'm telling you, there is, I don't think you can see it, but it's not much bigger than a pinhead of glue there. And then I do just a couple of small dots of glue on my nail itself. And then the secret to this, to not having bubbles, is to put the nail tilted up like this, and I run it down my nail like that, so that my actual nail bed and the underneath of the artificial nail is completely covered, and then I gently push it up under my cuticle. and I hold it for, I mean, really just a few seconds. It's on there. I leave the tab. I will tell you, if you get too much glue, you'll have a mess. It will get, it'll dry and it gets up under your fingernail and you can pick it out. I have before, trust me. So I'm going to hold this with my finger. And I'll put just a tiny bit more on that one because it's a bigger surface. I am using the tiniest bit of glue. I know you probably can't see it, but see how I'm doing that, and then I hold it. It's there. I would rather not have enough glue than have too much. And I'm pressing it up under my cuticle. Not too far, but and just holding it. And we'll do the index finger. And I tell you, there you go. Clean that up a bit. Slide it. I mean, I don't have bubbles under these. If I did not want to polish these, you know, a lot of times when I would polish them in the past, before I started doing them this way, I would polish them because I could see the bubbles. I polished them to hide the bubbles. All right. Now, I'm not going to do my thumb. I do my thumbs last. So I'm going to go ahead now, and I'm going to very carefully just snip those tabs off, right even with the nail. Okay, then I'm going to go to the other hand, and we're going to do the very same thing on the other hand. All right, except for my thumbs, I'm going to go ahead and take these little tabs off. They seem to get in the way. This thumb, whoops. Of course, those thumbs are larger, so they need a little bit more glue. And I will tell you that evidently I got some glue on this finger and it's trying to stick to everything, so we'll get that off. I mean, I think you could use this glue with any nails that you can buy anywhere. And Curve Life certainly does have a great selection of nails, but they're a whole lot more expensive than these. And I did early on order a set of their natural looking nails like these, and I did not like the color. And I didn't like the shape. Okay, we're going to leave those, and I'm going to grab some just regular old nail polish. And clean that, whoops, wrong top. Clean that up. I did get like glue in a couple of places. And when that dries, I can take an emery board and just buff that off too. So the next thing I do is I want to make sure where those little tabs were, that if you feel it, it's like a little sharp point, and I just very gently file that until it's smooth. And the only other thing I do, now you might like the shape of these. They're very squared off. But what I like to do is just a tiny little bit, take off that point on the edge on each side. And it doesn't take much to do that. These nails are thin, and I think that's one of the things I like about them. I get compliments on these when I'm out and about. And really, I'm not doing anything but taking that little point off. Any place I feel a little rough edge, I can just take it right off with the, and then I take my finger and I pull the tip of my finger, I pull it away from, and that if any glue is seeped down, or if I've pushed it down, I loosen that up. Okay. If you want this, you can stop right there. I do like to put polish on them. And I have tried so many different polishes. And I came across, I've been using the Olive in June from Walmart for a while now, but I had not seen this color until recently. And I love this color. It's called Pink Sands. And it's just the regular, long-lasting nail polish. I do not put a base coat on these. I don't use a top coat, nothing. And I'll either use 1 or 2 coats of this. With a lot of polishes, I'll start about halfway up and wiggle my brush and work it up into the to the cuticle there, and then I'll bring it down, and it works. But with this polish, you can see where I actually put the brush down the first time. So I've learned that I don't want to do that. And sometimes this is just a little bit streaky, and I'll put a second coat on top, a second very light coat, because I like to be able to see the tips, the white tips. I know I'm going to need a second coat on that one. You know, I have never really put the pencil to this, but my guess is that doing my nails this way, using this and the nails and the glue, excluding the polish, because polish can be lots of different prices, but just for the nails themselves and the glue, I bet you that maybe this costs me $3 or $4 for a set of nails to do my nails. I'm going to let this dry because I did such a thin coat. It won't take but a minute to dry. But I love them. They are on there. They're not going anywhere. I have used too much glue before and they pop off. Less is more. Less is better when it comes to the glue. And put the glue both on your nail and on the artificial nail. I'm reaching up here. You see me reaching. It's out of the camera, but that's what I'm reaching for. But that's them. I love them. They look like my hands again. See, that's dry. I've got just a little, there we go. Get that off of there. Let's put another coat on. Again, a very, very thin coat. And I'm not sure until I edit this video what little editing there will be. I'm not sure how long it took me from start to finish, but it's taken me much longer to film this than it takes in real life, because I've done it enough that, let's see, I'm missing, but I can do this in no time. When I put the second coat on, you can barely see the white tips. You know, if you like a color on your nails, then that won't be a problem. Everything will be listed. Okay? Thanks for watching. Have you tried this combination before? Have you bought these Amazon press-on nails before? Have you tried the Curve Life glue before? What do you think? Okay, gotta get in frame here. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you guys more than you'll ever know. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Don't forget to be kind. Be kind to yourself so you can be kind to others. Know that I love you, and I'll see you real soon. Bye-bye.